What if the parts of you that feel broken are the very things that make you most beautiful? In a culture obsessed with perfection, perfect homes, perfect lives, perfect appearances, we're taught to hide our cracks, to bury our pain, to pretend we're okay, even when we're quietly falling apart. But deep in the heart of Japanese philosophy lies a different message, one that whispers, your scars are sacred. Welcome to the world of Kintsugi, the ancient art of repairing broken pottery with gold. It doesn't hide the damage, it highlights it, because in Japanese minimalism, imperfections aren't flaws, they're stories, they're strength, they're what makes something truly whole. Today, we're going to explore how Kintsugi isn't just about broken bowls or shattered vases. It's a way of living, a way of seeing your emotional wounds not as shameful, but as beautiful. And in the silence that minimalism teaches us to create, we might finally hear the truth our hearts have been trying to say all along. Kintsugi, the art of breaking gracefully. Imagine this, you're holding a delicate ceramic cup. It's warm in your hands. Maybe it reminds you of your grandmother's kitchen, or a quiet morning, wrapped in silence and peace. But then, your grip slips, it falls, shatters. Your first instinct, throw it away, get rid of the mess, move on. Now, pause, take a breath. Because in that moment, a moment most would call ruin, Japanese culture sees something sacred. Kintsugi, which means golden joinery, is the ancient Japanese art of repairing broken pottery. Not by hiding the cracks, but by highlighting them. Each fracture is filled with a lacquer mixed with powdered gold. No attempt to disguise the damage. Instead, the break becomes the most beautiful part of the piece. And suddenly, what was once broken becomes more valuable, more beautiful, more meaningful, because it broke and because it healed. Now ask yourself, what if you are that cup? Every crack in your life, every heartbreak, betrayal, loss has left a mark. And maybe you've been told to hide it, to smile, to move on, to pretend it didn't change you. But Kintsugi teaches something radically different. That healing isn't about going back to how you were before. It's about becoming something new, with the pain woven into your story like gold. So let's bring it down to something practical. We talk a lot about decluttering in minimalism, but the heaviest clutter we carry is emotional. Try this today. Take 10 minutes, no distractions, no music, just you, a pen, and a quiet space. Think of one moment in your life that broke you, not to relive it, but to honor it. Ask yourself, what did I learn? How did I change? What grew in me because of that pain? Write it down. That reflection, that gold, is your beginning. Because the truth is, you don't lose value when you break. You gain depth, you gain strength, you gain a story that can't be bought or borrowed, only lived. And in the silence that Japanese minimalism invites us into, you're finally allowed to stop pretending you're whole and start becoming whole differently. Not who you used to be, but someone entirely new, someone filled with gold. What's one moment in your life that left a crack but also made you stronger? I'd love to hear your story in the comments. And if you're finding meaning in this message, don't forget to subscribe, so we can keep walking this healing path together. Silence as a healing space. Let's be honest. Most of us are terrified of silence. We wake up, and the first thing we reach for? Noise, a podcast, a YouTube video, notifications, music. Anything not be alone with our thoughts. But Japanese minimalism whispers a different message. It tells us, come back. Not to the past, not to perfection, but to presence. You see, minimalism in Japan isn't just a design choice. It's a philosophy, a sacred retreat. And inside that retreat is silence, not empty, not boring, but healing because in that quiet space where there's no clutter, no distractions, no chaos, something incredible happens. We stop running. We stop numbing ourselves with endless scrolling. We stop masking our pain with noise, busyness, and fake smiles. And finally, we meet ourselves. That's what Kintsugi offers. Not instant solutions, but space. Space to grieve, to breathe, to feel everything we've spent years pushing down. Because healing isn't fast, and Kintsugi never rushes. It's a slow, deliberate process, piece by piece, stroke by stroke. Golden lacquer drying between every fragile layer. It's the same with us. True healing can't be hurried, and self-acceptance, that takes even longer. So here's your invitation, a challenge if you will. Tonight, before bed, turn everything off. No music, no YouTube, no distractions. Just sit for 5 minutes, no fixing, no judging, just listen. Ask yourself, what am I carrying right now? What have I been avoiding? What part of me needs gold? The silence might feel uncomfortable at first, but stay there. Stay with the discomfort. Because just like a broken bowl being held in the hands of a craftsman, you too are being prepared for restoration. Remember, in a world obsessed with volume, silence is rebellion. And healing? It begins in the quiet. When was the last time you truly sat in silence with yourself, your thoughts, your emotions? Share it with me below. Let's remind each other that healing doesn't happen in noise. And if this moment of stillness spoke to you, take a second to subscribe. This space was made for souls like yours. Gold doesn't hide, it reveals. Let's get one thing clear. The gold in Kintsugi isn't decoration. It's not there to hide the crack. It's there to reveal it, boldly, beautifully, unapologetically. Each golden line tells a story of breaking, of pain, but also of healing. Now, take a moment. What if you saw yourself the same way? Think back to your darkest moment, the breakup that shattered you, the loss that hollowed you out, the day you failed and felt like you would never recover. But you did. Maybe slowly, maybe quietly, but you're still here. That's not weakness, that's your gold. Because here's the truth, no one tells us. The most powerful parts of us are the ones that broke and were rebuilt. We live in a world that tells us to hide our scars, to smile through the pain, to pretend we've got it all together. But Japanese minimalism offers a different kind of wholeness, a wholeness that comes from accepting what is, not erasing what was. It says, you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be true. Let me show you what that looks like. There was a man, a craftsman in Kyoto, who once told the story of a bowl he repaired with kintsugi. It had been broken into 11 pieces. The owner wanted to throw it away, but the craftsman said, "This bowl has more value now, not less." Why? Because now it told a story. Now it was alive. That's what your emotional scars are. Proof that you lived. Proof that you broke and still came back whole. But different, stronger, softer, more honest. So ask yourself, what parts of me have I tried to cover up? What if, instead of hiding them, I honored them? Minimalism reminds us you don't need more things to be enough. You don't need more success, more followers, more control. You just need to stop believing the lie that pain disqualifies you. Because you are not less because you've been broken. You are more because you survived. And just like the bowl lined with gold, your truth is your beauty. And your scars, they are not shame, they are art. Beauty in impermanence, Wabi-sabi and Kintsugi. There's a quiet philosophy woven into the fabric of Japanese minimalism. It's called Wabi-sabi. and it teaches us one of the most liberating truths. Nothing lasts, nothing is finished, nothing is perfect. At first, that might sound sad, but really, it's freedom. Because when we let go of the need to perfect everything, our homes, our bodies, our lives, we begin to truly see. We start noticing the things that don't shout, but whisper. The chipped edge of a favorite mug that holds years of memories. The faded linen curtain that dances in the morning light. The laugh lines around your eyes, drawn by every moment you've ever smiled. That's not damage, that's life. Kintsugi doesn't try to restore something to how it used to be. It embraces how it is now. And in that acceptance, something beautiful is born. Wabi-sabi invites us to do the same with our own stories. Not to fix them, not to erase the messiness, but to honor what they've made us. Ask yourself, what if I stopped asking, how do I fix myself? And started asking, how can I honor who I've become? Because maybe you're not behind, you're becoming. You're not broken, you're becoming real. You're not late, you're right on time. Minimalism, at its core, isn't about stripping life bare. It's about removing what hides the truth. And that truth is this: you are already enough, even in your uncertainty, even in your changing seasons, even when everything feels undone. Just like a kintsugi bowl, you don't need to be flawless to be valuable. In fact, your imperfection is your uniqueness. Your impermanence is your beauty. The next time you catch yourself chasing perfection, pause, breathe, look around. Notice the subtle beauty of what is, not what could be, not what should be, but what is now. That is wabi-sabi. That is peace. That is where healing lives. What imperfection in your life have you come to love? Not in spite of, but because of its flaws? Leave it in the comments. You never know who you might inspire. And if this idea of finding beauty in the imperfect resonates with you, make sure to subscribe for more stories that celebrate the raw and real. Living as a work of art. What if your life isn't broken? It's just becoming art. A piece of kintsugi, fragile once, shattered once, but now laced with gold, more beautiful, not in spite of your pain, but because of it. Every scar you carry is a stroke of gold, every heartbreak a brush of meaning, every failure a layer of depth. Minimalism is often misunderstood as emptiness, but that's not what it is. It's about space, space to breathe, space to feel, space to heal, because healing takes room, and room requires letting go. So let go of the clutter, not just the stuff in your house, but the guilt you've hoarded, the perfection you keep chasing, the silence you've been afraid to sit with. And when all that noise fades, what's left is you, the real you, unpolished, unfiltered, unapologetic. You don't need to hide your cracks. You don't need to start over. You are not a renovation project. You are a masterpiece in motion. So wear your scars like gold. Let them shine. Let them whisper your story into the world. Not, look how perfect I am, but look how far I've come. Look what I survived. Look at the beauty I found inside the broken. In a world addicted to filters and flawlessness, choosing to be real is revolutionary. So let this be your quiet rebellion. To live simply, to heal slowly, to grow honestly, and to be beautifully, gloriously, imperfectly human, because you're art. And art was never meant to be flawless, only true. Kintsugi whispers a truth most of us forget. What's broken isn't ruined, it's sacred. In the stillness of Japanese minimalism, we're not told to fix ourselves. We're invited to sit with our pain, not to erase it, but to transform it. Every crack you carry is a chapter, Every scar is proof that you've lived, loved, and endured. And within that quiet story lies a beauty more powerful than perfection could ever offer. So, here's a gentle challenge. Tonight, take a moment. Think of one place inside you that feels broken. And imagine filling it with gold, not to hide the pain, but to honor it. What would that look like for you? Share it in the comments, not for attention, but for connection, because someone out there is carrying the same crack, and your story might be the gold they need. And if this video spoke to you, subscribe. We're building a space here of purpose, of healing, of real minimalism that goes beyond decluttering shelves into clearing space for your soul. So, until next time, be gentle with yourself. Let go of what no longer serves you. And most of all, let your light shine, not in spite of your cracks, but through them.